Welcome to Modern Anarchy, the podcast featuring real conversations with conscious objectors to the status quo. I'm your host, Nicole.
I tried to keep her quiet, but she's screaming inside of me. I tried to keep her hiding, oh, shut up. I tried to keep her quiet, but she's a wild, wild woman.
On today's episode, we have Pam join us. She used to be an intellectual property lawyer, but is now a birth doula. That is no easy change in career paths, so I think she has a ton of wisdom. Together, we talk about the antidote to perfectionism, the worship of marriage, and she ties in a reflective art meditation that I think would be very beneficial for everyone to try. So if you're listening to this episode for the first time and you haven't heard Pam's full story, then I'd recommend checking out the episode below.
Okay, so this art activity is called Seeing Myself as a Parent. And you're going to need a paper and something to draw with. Colors would be nice if you have some markers, crayons, pastels, colored pencils. If not, a pen or a pencil is great. I've done this activity with just that. So to begin with, you may wish to close your eyes. Slow your breath down. Just take a couple deep, grounding breaths to get centered in your body. Allow your mind to quiet. And beginning from a place of curiosity and discovery, try to feel into your inner parent. You may have heard of your inner child. Just like everybody has an inner child, everybody has an inner parent. Whether you have actual children or plan to have actual children or not, this archetype lives within you. So you might have to wait for a moment for something to emerge. That's okay. There's no rush. And once you start to connect to this inner parent within you, I want you to consider, how might you imagine yourself? How might you imagine your inner parent? What characteristics do you notice? As you see your inner parent in your mind's eye, explore the details. What do they look like? Maybe what kind of clothes do they wear? How old are they? What do they know? How might they comfort a child, maybe you, your inner child? How do they react when a child is upset? And when you're ready, when you feel a bit connected to that archetype, come back to your paper and art supplies and allow yourself to create a symbolic representation of yourself as a parent. So maybe draw what that means to you. And it could be a representative image of a human, or it could be an abstraction. It could be symbols or colors that mean something to you. But whenever you're making art, doing these art processes, I always remind people that it's really much more about the process than about creating a finished piece of art. So the end result does not matter as far as artistic merit goes. And if you want to pause this podcast and take maybe even a couple minutes, maybe 5 or 10 minutes to draw, go ahead and do that. And when you're finished, and you feel like you're done, you can come back to this. And once you're finished, take a step back from your piece. Disconnect from it a little bit. Step away from the creator and shift into an observer. And when you're looking at this art that you made, I want you to get curious. Open your mind to the fact that there might be more there than you consciously intended to put in this piece. If you're somebody who has any experience with maybe reading tarot cards, that might be something familiar to you, but open your mind to this process. Notice, is there anything in the art that you may not have seen at first? Is there anything that surprises you? Maybe you thought you would have seen yourself as a parent one way, and something different came out. So get into the feeling of the drawing. What was the feeling when you were making it? Was it nurturing? Was it angry? Were you scared? Were you at peace? Is there a story behind the art? Is there anything that doesn't make sense to you that you might require further exploration? Or maybe something that feels like it's missing, something that you wish you would have included but didn't for some reason? And then what might that missing thing symbolize about your life? So ask yourself some of these questions, and you can go through them just in real time as I did. Or if it feels like there's something deeper to explore, I always love journaling. For me, sometimes doing these art processes, it'll bring up a theme that I'll be exploring and asking myself that question for weeks or months as I'm learning on that theme. But that is just a little preview of one art process that we do at Birthing From Within. And if you do it and you like it, I'd be really interested to hear people's experiences. Did this give you any useful insight to how you might treat yourself and your inner child, or maybe your literal children? Did it give you any insight about the care that maybe your inner child needs, the parent figure that they are looking for or craving? Maybe some healing to do within your own relationship to your own parents who raised you. But let me know. Message me on Instagram or something. Thanks.
If you enjoyed today's conversation, then subscribe for new episodes released every Wednesday, and follow us on Instagram at Modern Anarchy Podcast, where we open up a dialogue about all of these topics. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. And a special thanks to one of my favorite artists, Smith, for the intro and outro song to this show.